Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is comprised of what we hope for, and it's the evidence of things not seen. Think about this. Sometimes, but these are the things that we have and we do. These are still weights. I gotta defend myself. I gotta defend myself. I gotta stand up for me because nobody stands up for me. These are weights. If you've ever felt like you haven't had people in your corner, we can justify overprotecting ourselves. And these things transfer because this type of behavior, it spills onto your family. All of these things. I'm like, Lord, like I cared so often. I remember early in our marriage, I cared so much about how I was perceived that I tried to overcorrect how everybody saw me. That's you talking about weight and just like, it's just so much work. Or I don't know if you've ever been in a situation. You find yourself being good to prove you good, but not to just be good. Like I found myself walking into places trying to be the best version of myself so that people would understand that I'm a good person. Right. So much. Now there's a certain amount of like, I try to like, I see people and for their own comfort, I try to speak and be kind so the person doesn't, not in fear. I mean, I'm 5'6.5". I'm not that afraid when you see me, but it's just, you just want people to, but what happens, I realize like I could do things. I could just try to be the best father to prove that I am a good father, but not just be a good father. Like, who am I proving it to? That's a way. Sometimes we're still trying to prove stuff. We're trying to prove that we're smart enough. We're still trying to prove that we're saved. You got a whole couple chapters saying that nothing you did that make you saved. So you don't have to prove it anymore. You don't have to prove your salvation. Just walk it out. I hope y'all hear me. Because sometimes we're still trying to prove like you have to trust that his sacrifice is good enough, because if it's not, then it's like, what are we doing? And so all of these things, proving. And my need to prove things, I can get tangled up in sin because now I'm doing things like, I mean, that whole keeping up with the Joneses, that very much is not just a material thing. We can spiritually try to keep up with the Joneses. Like this is what churches do. They struggle because every church is trying to keep up with the next church. And like, you got this thing, I'm trying to do this thing, we trying to do this thing. And now it just becomes like, so here's the thing. We'll close it here. Therefore, since we're surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, now Hebrews 11 was our great cloud, but I like to believe this also cloud of witnesses. Let us lay aside every weight. Every weight. Don't let any other weight slip out of this every bracket. Well, this is fine. I can manage this one. Every weight. Because we lie to ourselves talking about we can manage it. I can let my friends all tell me their issues and I won't carry it. Yes, you will. Some of us are way down because we carrying other people's stuff. And it's not bad because you want to be a good believer, right? Tell me, but we don't dump. So we want to be the source for everybody. Sometimes you have to be careful of the hubs. Hubs get way down. Tell me, like, help me. And it feels good because sometimes it can play into your pride. It feels good to be needed. It feels good to people, everybody to want you until you realize you're not Jesus and you're not equipped. And so even still, like that's a reminder for all of us, because we got a lot of hubs in here. A lot of y'all are very caring people, and you try to take on so much of other people, and you got to lay that weight aside too. Lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance. That means running without failing. Run with endurance. It doesn't say how fast, it just says with endurance. Pace yourself. Anybody run distance? It's a different beast. I had the joy of being a sprinter and a distance runner. But I'll tell you, distance running is mental. And not that sprinting is. Sprinting is very much like, it's you against the person too. It's done. Distance, you are telling yourself when you're running, you will not fall. Your legs are not going to stop. Like, I don't know if y'all ever done some real distances. Oh, Lord, I've done some distances, some school, some military. And I remember some mornings you running. You have no idea when you pass this building. I don't even know if I'm awake. But you're running. It has been 2 or 3 miles. and you're looking for every reason to fall out. I have said while running, like if I just clip myself, maybe they'll let me out. I'll just clip and like fall over and they'll be like, oh, I can't. I thought of every excuse in the mornings, and you just running. Run with endurance. Like it means without fail. Like not gonna give up. It will be difficult. Sometimes there is a letting yourself know. First off, cast aside the weight and the stuff that would easily trip you up. Yeah. Run light, run free. Then run with endurance. But how do we do it? Look into Jesus, who's the author and the finisher of our faith. He's the one who started us on the race. He's the one to ensure that we will finish the race. So you just keep running. How did he do it? By keeping his eyes on what was to come. For with the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross. Partially, it's hard to deal with life because we have to set joy before us. The joy of, first off, you have the joy of eternity. That's where it has to start. That is Romans 7. The whole chapter of Romans 7 is the idea of what's before us. But there's also, I believe, you start with eternity and then you scroll it back. Did you ever see yourself, like, some of us need to get a picture of our family fully restored to God. Like, can you run with seeing you and your family running towards Jesus? Like, get a picture of seeing your family whole. Can you run with that endurance? God, I know that all things won't be real, but I could just see them all knowing you and loving you. For the joy set before you, what are you running? See, I have to refocus your marriage. If your marriage has been very hard and difficult, that's all that's before you. I might need to see it differently. God, let me see a restored marriage before me. Let me see wholeness within myself. For that, but not in my own methods, my own merit, just in God doing it. I can endure today. I can endure today. I can deal with today. Despising his shame. I don't know what your shame is. I mean, Christ's shame is just coming from glory to wrap itself in flesh to have to die. And we take up our cross and we have to follow him, but their life comes even following God. It comes with, sometimes there are those who despise you for the joy that you have in God. You seem free now. I don't like this version of you. Keep your eyes fixed on Jesus. Amen. Amen. Amen.